What is up, everybody? This is Donald from the Pinstripe Chronicles with the co-host Tats. We are the AL East champions. Congratulations to the New York Yankees, the Bronx Bombers, Rep BX. Here we go. The New York Yankees have won the division, and let's go forward into October. So we're going to break it down. We'll celebrate with our Yankee fans and bring it on. Yankee hat is on. We are ready to go. The Yanks are champs. Tats, how are you feeling, brother?
I am feeling amazing. It is about time. It should have been done this should have been locked up weeks ago, but we won't get really too much into the rough summer because it's just too happy of a day to go dwelling in the past. Right now, we just got to look forward to the future and the postseason now.
Yep. So, did you watch the game or were you listening to it on the radio?
No, I was very intent on listening to John.
John,
actually, I was trying to.
They do the Yankees win.
No! That's one of the best sounds in the world. It really is.
It actually is. That is true.
I actually was trying to watch it on the Yes app, but the Yes app kept crashing last night. So it was not letting me log in. I couldn't. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go with what works for me and gives me an enjoyment of baseball. So John and Susan did a great job calling the game. The energy, they kept it up the whole game. And it was almost, they sensed it was coming, and it happened.
Champs. So anybody in the chat, fire us some questions. Whoa, we got Tony Clark, my man. Here we go. Hello. Well, I assume boys, because that would be Tyler Boyd from the Cincinnati Bengals. So how are you doing, Tony? Thanks so much. We're looking forward to having Mr. Tony on our show on Friday. So this is gonna be fun. So first of all, we are the champs. Have to say, I have to take my mea culpa because at the start of the year I was not confident. I said that we'd be a wild card team. Taz, what was your prediction at the start of the year? Did you have us?
No, I didn't think the division was going to be won by us. I thought that it was going to be, the dogfight for the wild card, and especially after all the moves that were made or not made the regular season very questionable of how consistent and dominant they could be. And for most of the beginning of the year, they were dominant. Then they had, the time where it looked like just the sky was falling and they weren't going to make the playoffs at all. They looked that bad. And it just took a couple of key guys coming back and getting everything back on track. And here we are, winners of the AL East.
Tony Clark, I said fourth place. Yeah, I had us third. I had us in third place, so delighted to be wrong. Can you guys remember what Rob's prediction was?
I think Rob was on the same boat as us. He thought it was, if I remember, he thought it was going to be a wild card team as well.
He was definitely more optimistic than we were.
No, he said definitely a wild card. The division, was to win a division, and the AL East, like we said yesterday.
Yeah,
every game within the division really was a dogfight. There was nobody that really, the games were tight. And it was a good, nobody was going to make it easy on the Yankees.
I mean, listen, the Orioles have surprised us. They've been a team that's just been fighting for the second wild card spot. So credit to the Orioles. So they've been a surprise. The Red Sox have been a surprise, but for the wrong reasons. And then the Rays and the Jays, I thought that we would be after them because we've not once proven that we've been able to beat the Rays, but we've done it this year. So you know what? I have to give credit to the organization. Aaron Boone has done a very good job this year, in my opinion. I think that he's steadied the ship and he navigated some very difficult waters. I hope you guys enjoyed that metaphor. Yeah, I think he stayed the ship and kept us on the path. We had a couple of choppy moments, ran into a few icebergs, but we kept the boat afloat, and we made it through. Obviously, I was very concerned when we were like tail spinning, and it wasn't all that long ago in August. But they've come around and they've really pulled themselves together and fully deserve to win the AL East. I mean, at one point we were going to win like 120 games. That was never realistic, but we've done well to navigate a difficult stretch post All-Star break. Tony Clark, I still think without Judge's massive season, it would have been in fourth place though.
Absolutely.
The Red Sox have just been so bad. I know. I love it. It's been great. Remember the Red Sox series? They couldn't catch a freaking ball, man. Balls were flying everywhere. They had no idea what they were doing out there. That was hilarious. And the Blue Jays weren't all that much better yesterday, have to be said. Bo Bichette is not a good he's not a good infielder, man. How many errors has he got now? Like 26 or something like that?
It's high. Yeah.
Dude, it's bad. Like, that guy can't throw. What is happening with him? So first of all, let's get started with praising the Yankees. What was your thoughts on Aaron Boone this year, Taz?
For the year, I think that he did very well in the beginning of the season, where he was getting a lot of praise from a lot of fans, especially from us on here. We were giving him a lot of credit for the moves he was making. It looked like he was finally managing the way he wanted to. It seemed like he was going less by the book and more by how the momentum was going. And he deserved a lot of the credit for that. So, and, it looked like it was, okay, let's see if, going by the book and having the computer do everything, let's see if we can get the same results from the team, and that wasn't to be.
Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, listen, I had questions about the way the roster was constructed, so I have to think that Aaron Boone's done pretty well. It wasn't an ideal scenario. We had an influx of infielders, and there were some issues there, but Boone managed to get the most out of some of his parts. And of course, that leads us seamlessly into Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge has really probably been the focal point of this season. He's been the sole guy that's carried this ball club through months and months of historic play from Aaron Judge. What did you think about yesterday? He got walked 4 times. Now, I'm not going to go and call out the Blue Jays necessarily because it was all full counts. But I watched every single at-bat. I watched every single pitch, and none of them were hittable. None of them were anything that Judge could have done anything with. They were pitching around him. Especially the 3-2 changeups out of the zone, that they don't want anything to do with throwing Judge a fastball. What were your thoughts on this, Aaron? Tad, so they taking the bat out of Aaron's hands?
Well, what I will give the Blue Jay pitchers credit for is, and the manager, they weren't just throwing up 4 fingers. They weren't pitching to him. They were just pitching him very cautiously. And if he walked, he walked. Also, give a ton of credit to Judge's approach at these at-bats.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's not trying to force he's not trying to force it. If you're not going to give me something to hit, I ain't swinging. If you're going to walk me, so be it. Just let it happen. So it's one of those, at least the Blue Jay pitchers, and I'm going to use a phrase that at least they had the pride to pitch to.
Yeah. I mean, I was getting annoyed, though, because in full counts, you expect that they'd want to throw a strike, but they were quite happy walking Judge. And then, of course, they deliberately walked him the night previously. Basically, Judge hasn't had a pitch to hit this series. And he didn't really have a pitch to hit other than a couple against the Red Sox. It's been about a week and a half. Now, I tweeted that the Yankees should maybe consider moving him into the 2 slot to sandwich him in between Torres and Rizzo. Maybe have Torres lead off, Rizzo bat third, and then Judge between them, just so he can maybe get a couple more fastballs. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's considering he has done pretty well from the leadoff spot, but it almost feels like he's just being used now as a table setter, and I don't think that's the best use of him.
No, I think putting him back in the 2 spot at this stage, will serve a better purpose. I'd actually play now that the East is in hand, right? Now we could try to experiment a little bit and see what's working. Why not have Torres lead off, then Judge, then Rizzo? Why not try that for a game?
So you agree with me? Yeah.
Torres has been swinging a hot bat. He's getting on base. That gives them more of a reason to they don't want to automatically start off the game.
Yeah,
having 2 runners on and then have you 3, 4, 5. So I think that's a way that they can go because
that's what I think.
You don't have to risk giving up the division lead. Now that that's done.
Yeah. To be honest, would you consider sitting him tonight?
Tonight? Why not? Why not give him a day to kind of catch his breath? But at the same time, you want to be, you want to keep his eye at the plate. You want to keep him fresh. You want to keep him involved more so.
So, yeah, listen, if you say you sat him tonight, then that would be 1 day off. Then you'd have the off day. So you'd get a couple of days off. And then you might maybe be fresher for the Orioles series. What's Tony Clark saying here? Nobody pitched to Bonds. He had triple the amount of walks that Judge had, so I don't care for the fans complaining about it. Yeah, it's just that. Obviously for selfish reasons, we want to see him hit the record. Also, you also want a pitcher to challenge him. Why doesn't people don't want to challenge him? People don't want to be that pitcher that gave up number 61. They really don't want to do it. So that's what we're kind of seeing here. They're really pitching around him. So Judge is in a tough spot because at most you're maybe going to get 1 pitch to hit in an entire game. Normally in an at-bat, you get a pitch to hit, but I think you're just going to be lucky to get 1 pitch to hit an entire game now with the way that they're pitching around him. I do think it would be wise to give him a day off, though. I think giving guys a day off would be good. I'm in favor of Judge skipping the night. It'll do more good than harm. I agree, Elliot. I think that thanks so much for coming in to our show today. I think that it would be good. Give him a rest day, get a rest, and then break the record against Baltimore. Sorry, Tony.
No, what it is let's get to Tony's comment first.
He said Judge that would just be disaster. The fan base, basically the Yankees, would get a lot of backlash. I don't know. I think they won the division. I think common sense would probably prevail. I don't know if it would be a disaster. It'd be a disaster to walk him at the stadium, but I don't sit him at the stadium. But I don't know if it would be a disaster to bench him when you've clinched the division. But maybe Judge doesn't want to sit. Maybe he wants to go all at it. I know that Roger Maris Jr. will be in the stands, and so maybe due to that, you don't want to have him sit. It's an interesting call. I would understand both viewpoints. So let's touch on Taillon. Taillon had probably his best start of the year. Tats, what were you thinking?
I think it was his best start of the year. Even the almost no hitter, back in August, this definitely eclipsed it because he was facing let's be honest, the Blue Jays. That's a very tough lineup to navigate. Mm-hmm. Like we said yesterday. It's the their 1 through 9 can be very dangerous. So Taillon being able to handle that lineup the way he did and pitches deep into the game as he did, he had a very efficient pitch count. So, no walks. So it was one of those. Taillon looks like he is just he was ready to make it happen for the team and kind of prove to all of us that he wants to be a part of the postseason rotation.
Elliot coming in with the Fire. I respectfully don't share the view with Tony. The advantages outweigh the disadvantages. The Yankees' main objective is to win games, not set records. Well, yeah, he's right, and I think that I still think it would be wise just to give him a day off, give him a rest, because I think there's a lot of pressure on Aaron Judge. The Maris' son's watching this. He's at the games. His mom's at the games. It's a lot of pressure on him. And then you've got every single person watching him. And but Tats, to pick up on your earlier point, I have to give you a lot of credit. You're spot on, man. The fact that he's not gone away from his approach, and the fact he's happy taking the walks and he's not forcing it at 3-2, he's not fishing, says a lot about the human being, the winner, the captain that Aaron Judge has been this year.
His leadership is really why he's been that good in the leadoff spot. His goal is to win the game. The record is, kind of that's not his main purpose of showing up at the ballpark every day.
Yeah.
His purpose is to help the team win. If he helps the team winning by walking 4 times, coming around to score on 2 of them, then that's 2 runs that he still gave the Yankees.
Taillon countered the doubts I had of him last night. This is Taillon. It's not that I feel good about him taking the mound, but I'm pleased in the end he did well. So, yeah, Taillon's year has been interesting because he gives up too many home runs. So he's second in the American League behind Garrett Cole, I hate to say, for most home runs given up post All-Star break. That's not very good. But then the other side of the coin, he's won his games. Like he's pitched every 5 days. He's a guy that works hard on the mound. He fights on the mound, and he doesn't give in. And I've been happy with the year that Taillon's had. I think Taillon is someone that deserves. I think he's been underrated, actually, from the Yankee fan base. I think Taillon deserves credit. I love his off-speed stuff. Now he mixes in like 5 or 6 pitches. Now he mixes in his sinker and his change and his curve, along with his fastball. And he does so effectively. And he's basically pitched quality starts basically every 5 days. If you look, I'm going to go and get his numbers up in a minute, but I still think that he's been one of our most solid starters, and obviously pre-All-Star break, he was actually on course to possibly being an All-Star. Then it kind of died down a little bit, but he's kind of picked it up a little bit recently. And considering the problems that we've had with health, with Severino, with Montas, with Garrett Cole struggling post All-Star break, the fact that we had someone reliable like Taillon, pitching every 5 days and pitching fairly reliably, I don't think enough credit has been given to him. Just look at his numbers here: 14-5 with a 3.83 ERA. So the win-loss record's just terrific. 14-5. That's gonna earn him a pretty nice contract. He's gonna get a nice contract for that. At 3.83 in the American League, which is traditionally much more difficult to navigate offenses than in the National League. 383 is very good numbers, in my opinion. I think Taillon's had a very good year. He is home run prone. That's the only maybe downside to him. And he doesn't necessarily have an out pitch, but he works really hard on the mound, and I think he deserves credit. If Judge doesn't win MVP and if Hyde doesn't win Manager of the Year, I'm done with baseball.
I agree. On the Manager of the Year, it's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Judge, if he doesn't win it, if he doesn't win MVP, then literally it's a scandal.
Yeah,
Actual scandal.
Literally, the game is rigged.
Yeah, the game is rigged. Then it would be mayhem, and I'd be picketing outside the MLB office. It will be it'll be hell to pay.
You might be buying that plane ticket after all.
It'll be hell to pay. It would be hell to pay. They can't do that. There's get dudes on course to win a triple crown. It's just not happening.
And the other thing with Taillon last night, let's also tip our cap to Boone for not pulling him. Normally you don't see him allowing pitchers to keep going out there, and he was like, "All right, I'm just going to let him pitch until he can't. I'm not, all right, he gave us 6 innings. Let's get the bullpen in." He let the bullpen kind of get rest for an inning or two. So letting him go 7 1/3. So I think Boone also gets a credit for trusting that Taillon still had enough in the tank to keep going.
Well, look at that. So it was 7 1/3 innings, 2-run ball. Previous start against Boston, 6 innings, no-run ball. So, I mean, he's pitched quality starts. Okay, the Milwaukee start wasn't good, but then Tampa Bay quality start 7 1/3, 3, 5-2 Minnesota, 6-1 against Oakland, 6-3, 6-3. He's done fine. He's been quality starts all the way down the line. 3.83 ERA, 14-5. He's pitched 31 games. His numbers have dropped from 4.30. His ERA is 4.30 last year down to 3.80 this year. So whatever he's done is working. And as I say, he's been very reliable. And he got the championship belt. I don't know if anybody watched the Twitter video of the Yankees celebrating the division last night. Aaron Boone gave Taillon the belt for that excellent start.
Yeah, no, and he earned it. He really did. On the offensive side, the other guy that could have gotten it was Gleyber. He is. I mean, you talk about timing, because his bat has been so important to he was the key to yesterday's win. 100%. He just seemed to be involved on everything when it came to his place in the order. He delivered, and this is what we need him to keep. We need him to keep this going too. Now that once the regular season is over, you can't take the rest of the year off. There's still a lot of baseball to go. But if this is what we're going to get from Gleyber, then just sign me up.
It's been unbelievable. 3 hits, 3 ribs. Last 7 days, 10 hits, 10 of 24, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, 5 walks. I mean, that's wild. That's just in his last 7 games. So 10 hits in his last 7 games. He's been killing it in September. 29 hits and 87 at bats, so that's very good. 6 home runs, 23 RBIs. He's been killing it this month. 6 home runs, 23 ribs. He's drawing walks. He's hitting for average. He's doing everything right, and he's been playing a very good second base too. So I have to give credit to Gleyber Torres, because I think he got a lot of criticism for his poor play post All-Star break. To come out and to play like this in September, to help when the Yankees win the division, he certainly has played a big part in that, winning games for the Yanks while they're pitching around Judge, with Stanton in a slump, with Donaldson having a poor year offensively. To come in and to consistently give you quality at bats every single day right through September. Have to give credit to the Gleyber Torres for sure. Elliot, Gleyber is what you want in a player preceding the playoffs. He's hot at the right time. He has. And Elliot, it's come at a time when we desperately needed it, because they're pitching around Aaron Judge. They don't want to pitch to him. Rizzo's done his job, but then Stanton's in an all-time slump. And it's kind of up in the air. So I think that the underrated guys, I think, has to be Oswaldo Cabrera and Gleyber Torres.
Cabrera's been another one that's been very, we appreciate him as a player, but he's kind of been one of those, the unsung heroes to this run.
Yeah, he has.
With winning these games. He's another one that's been involved in everything. his defense has been I think his defense has been more of a surprise than his bat. Because he was moved into a couple different positions until they found a spot for him, with Benintendi going down. So it was the fact that you get called up, nobody.
Sidebar was amused. Finish your point, Ted.
So, when you don't know what position you're getting called up, you don't even know what position you're going to be playing, and then when they put you in that position, being in the outfield, and you're still able to play it at a high caliber, that just shows one. That's all IQ. That's natural. That's natural talent for the game. That's understanding the game and how it needs to be played. So, really, big credit to Cabrera too for what he's been able to do since being called up.
Elliot's comment, sidebar, was amused by this exact Breton celebrating his teammates for clinching the East. Hilarious. That's like the dude that turns up for the school assignment like an hour before and takes credit for getting an A. That's what it was like. It's hilarious. Spot on, Elliot. No, Oswaldo Cabrera, it's not just the fact that he's learning on the job being a right fielder, a left fielder. He's played everywhere, and he's done so seamlessly. I don't think I've ever seen someone who's never played right field or left field before play it like they're very naturally an outfielder. Dude's an infielder. Dude's naturally a third baseman, and a shortstop, and to come out and then play right field and left field, and especially right field, which is far more difficult than left field in my opinion. And he's done so seamlessly with a power arm and just making every play. And his at bats are terrific. Again, a couple of hits yesterday. His OPS is starting to shoot up. He's showing power. I love his presence. Like he's got a little bit of cockiness about him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a very special player. Cabrera, very confident this kid. He delivers. His versatility is a big asset to the team. He doesn't get rattled, and he can come in through big situations. 100%. Absolutely nailed it, Elliot. Thank you so much. I love Oswaldo Cabrera, and I seriously think the Yankees should be planning around him being an outfielder next year, possibly starting left fielder next year.
Yeah, no, I think him as an outfielder next year is a lock. I would be surprised if they tried putting him back in the infield. I think they found their left fielder for next year.
I think he's more than earned it. I think considering, as you say, he's been an unsung hero. While Aaron Judge will win the Triple Crown, hopefully, and hopefully break Maris's record, there's been quiet years from Oswaldo Cabrera and Gleyber Torres that have helped steady the ship. And also, you know what? I do think that although I've called him out on a couple of occasions, I think that Aaron Boone deserves credit. I think he's managed a very good year. I think he's done a very good job to win the division. It's been an absolutely nails division. And he's managed to navigate some difficult times during the year. And we've come out on top, and we are the champions of the AL East. And it's very nice to say it. And it also helps us immeasurably in October because now we have that bye. Yep. And it really sets us up. We can set the rotation. We can set the team up. We've got a month to plan, so we're in good shape. Tats?
No, I think that having the bye in the postseason is it really is going to help tremendously. Because you're going to have pretty much everybody's going to be rested, and I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think you're going to have a situation where they're too rested and they're a little rusty. I don't think you'll have that. I think this team is they're poised differently. And look, like you said, and also like you said with Boone, real quick, we were very critical of him at times during the year, but in the end, he managed this team to a division win. So you have to let it, take it as that.
Cutter 75. I will be surprised if Yankees win around this postseason. Well, we have to wait and see. I think that we will get through the DS, the CS against the Astros. I'm assuming it's against the Astros. That that's a different matter. But it's a positive day today. I don't want to get into that stuff yet. We'll have more than enough time over the next few weeks to break down our opponents and etc. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a chance that we'll get through the first round. I think being the second seed has its advantages. We may match up with Cleveland or Toronto in the DS, and I like how we measure up. Yeah, well, briefly before the end of our show, I think Toronto have some defense problems. We saw it yesterday. They were letting balls drop, and Bo Bichette has really struggled out there in the infield. I don't think that they're a great defensive team, and I don't think their pitching is great either. So I think the Yankees match up fairly well with Toronto. It's just if Guerrero, Bichette, Kirk, Springer, all these guys get hot, then we're in trouble. But I think we match up fairly well. Cleveland, I think we match up well. Nestor should start game 1.
No,
that's a great point.
Yeah, if I could jump in with Cutter's just saying right now with game 1, I was on the Twitter Spaces with Blue Jays dad after the win last night.
Right.
And he had asked me, one of the questions that I was asked was, how would I set up my rotation? And I'm like, I know that Cole is supposed to be the ace, but I would have Nestor at game 1 and Cole game 2, just based on merit. I think Nestor has earned the trust of the organization and the fans that if he was named the game 1 starter, nobody should bat an eye. And Cole has to understand that it's not, you cannot be selfish just because you're, paid as your number 1 pitcher doesn't mean you are the number 1 pitcher. That's Cortez this year.
Well, we know for a fact that Garrett Cole will be the starter. Has basically been pre-announced, but I have to say I think Nestor has been the better pitcher. And in fact, I don't think there's any debate about it. Is the numbers back that up? He's been our stopper this year, Nasty Nestor, and he deserves unbelievable amounts of credit. So if you were looking at the heroes, in fact, let's do that. Let's talk about the heroes of the year briefly. Tats, who is your unsung hero of the year?
I think the unsung hero is somebody that's on the IL right now that came in and gave the team that a little spark, and it's got to be Matt Carpenter's got to be in the conversation.
I love that. Very good point. Star pitcher.
Cortez. I think as far as the rotation, and to be fair, because of the bullpen, let's give early season Holmes a nod too, because he saved a lot of games for us when we had no faith in Chapman.
Well, I have no faith in Holmes. Elliott, early hero, Matt Carpenter. Yeah, so Tats and Elliott are on the right path right there. I have to agree with that. I think Matt Carpenter, Matty Ice, for sure. Favorite moment?
Oh, you know what? This is going to sound a little corny, but it is what it is. I think it's got to be the gathering with everybody at the game against the Astros. I think the two of us being able to hang out, meet up, rather than doing this, through the screen for 2 years. But that still was a very fun day and a great experience at the stadium.
Trevino unsung hero.
I got to go with that.
So Cutter's got Trevino as our unsung hero. I would probably go Carpenter. Elliott, unsung heroic pitcher, Herman. Interesting.
Yeah.
He's actually a pretty good
wrong, but it's not everybody's go-to guy.
Definitely unsung. I think we can emphasize the use of unsung right there. Favorite moment: Donaldson's walk-off, grand slam. I think probably for me, Stanton walk-off grand slam after Judge hit number 60 is certainly right up there. But we've had a lot of walk-offs. There's been a ton of walk-offs this year, so some of them kind of merge into each other. But Judge has had a couple of epic walk-offs too. So who's your Gold Glove of the year, Tat?
Oh, Gold Glove. Shit. I think you'd have to go the Gold Glove. It would have to be Judge. His outfield, his play in the outfield, it's when the balls hit to him and you see base runners just hesitate. That just shows his dominance with his arm. And his also for a guy his size, the way he could run around, run and chase down the ball. Yeah, it's got to be Judge.
Cutter is on the same wavelength as myself. Stand walk-off slam. Yeah, I agree. I think it was a stand walk-off slam after Judge hitting 60. Was a pretty great moment. My Gold Glove is what Cutter actually said earlier as the unsung hero, Trevino. Trevino has been incredible this year at catcher. His pitch framing has earned a couple of strikeouts, ton of strikeouts for us. His defense has been epic, and he's been really terrific all year. Elliot thinks it's Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson has played an excellent third base, but he's been so bad offensively that it's hard to give him too much credit. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, he has been excellent. I would think Trevino, but I also have to think Oswaldo Cabrera. But I think we'll have a separate category for Oswaldo. Rookie of the year. Yeah. I think it has to be Oswaldo.
Yeah, no, that's a show one. If you're not saying Cabrera, then you haven't been paying attention.
You haven't been paying attention. Yeah, he has been epic. The MVP is there's no discussion. It's absolutely Josh Donaldson. joking. No, it's Aaron Hicks. It's definitely Aaron Hicks.
Real quick with Cabrera. When was the last time we had a rookie come up where we didn't we or somebody new to the team, like new to the fold? We're going, there was not one game we were able to come up here in the morning and be overly critical of him. He's pretty much
he's balled out from day one, man. All these moments where he's been playing terrific Gold Glove defense in the outfield, and now his bat's coming around. He's been great. But Cabrera goes Gold Glove. Yeah, he's played left field, right field, third base, shortstop. He's played from first. He's played everywhere, and he's played it seamlessly. So, yeah, I think you could probably give him a Gold Glove too, as well as Rookie of the Year. MVP is obviously Aaron Judge. Who is your massive LVP?
The LVP. Holy cow.
There's some ones that come to mind. Chapman come to mind, etc.
Yeah, there's Chapman. I think second half Holmes.
Oh yeah.
Donaldson. They could all be into that fold. IKF has had on the defensive end. There's been has had
I can't feel
value.
Yeah.
It could be a whole barrage, but I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Chapman. I think his ineffectiveness in the bullpen just ruined the plan for the bullpen for the whole season.
Elliot, LVP, Montas. Yikes.
Ooh.
That is.
Elliot's bringing it today.
He is bringing the fire. I don't know about that. I mean, it's not really his fault. The guy was hurt. But yeah, it's not worked out as we'd hoped. But I think that would be, first of all, my LVP has to be, and there's no question about it, Aaron Hicks. God, I can't stand that man. He needs to go play golf somewhere. I absolutely cannot stand him. I can't stand looking at him. And anyone hasn't seen my rant on our video page, please check it out. I go to town.
Definitely go back and watch it.
I go to town on Aaron Hicks. that man is despicable, like unbearable. Every kind of word that you can think of, I will eviscerate him. I cannot stand him. And you know what? He even said something dumb the other day where he was like, "Oh, well, if the Yankees don't want me, I know I can contribute elsewhere." Dude, you've been playing every single freaking day, man, and you've stunk. Own it. I mean, when he dropped the ball in the outfield and then just didn't do anything, I'll never forgive him for that. That's the worst thing I've ever seen. And I've been watching baseball for almost 40 years. That was the worst thing I've ever freaking seen. So he is definitely the LVP.
So
go away. I can't stand you. Go. Also,
before you start wrapping things up,
yeah,
what did you think of Michael Kay taking a dig on Vladdy?
I didn't hear it. What did he say?
When he thanks Vlad Guerrero Jr. for allowing the Yankees to celebrate it in his house. If you have to go back and
that's an expert troll job from Michael Kay.
It was the best troll job I had ever heard in sport. That was insane.
That is an expert troll job. Okay, so final two awards. So obviously, Aaron Judge is the MVP. There's no question about that. The final two awards: best and worst acquisition of the year.
Ooh, the best has to be Carpenter. Yeah, I can't. That's got to be. I can't give him all the credit I did earlier and not give him that. The worst, I'm gonna have to say Montas. He was brought here to be our 1A, our number 2 pitcher, and he just did not have it since he got here.
Yeah. Mine would be Trevino. What he's the best catcher in baseball now. And considering how bad Sanchez was last year, we desperately need a good catcher. So I think Trevino, and also his bat has been a big surprise. So I'm going to give the award to Trevino, but yeah, certainly Carpenter. But he was definitely the underrated player of the year anyway. So unsung hero by Carpenter. So we've already got an award for him. Elliott has the worst as Montas, so he's in agreement with Tats. My worst is Mr. I Can't Field, IKF. The reason being, the Yankees went all in on him. He's a stopgap. His shortstop play has been dreadful, like among the worst in baseball. The Yankees continue to make excuses for him, and they've already got an excellent shortstop waiting in the wings in Peraza. It didn't make any sense that they're falling over themselves to find extra at-bats and extra excuses for IKF, who has played a dreadful shortstop. He cost us the game the other day. He does it quite often. Yes, I know he's been okay offensively for what we're asking him to do, but I just think considering the Yankees have made this stopgap, which is what he is, into an everyday player and really kind of telling us that we're dumb and that he's the greatest shortstop in all of baseball, just annoys me so much that for me he's the worst acquisition. Not necessarily because he's been the worst performing player, but because of the excuses the Yankees made for him. It really annoys me. I don't think he's been good at all. So moving aside from that, Montas has not been good. There's no question about it. I just think that he's hurt. I think he was hurt when we traded for him, so I think that's on Brian Cashman rather than Montas. I think he was hurt when we traded for him. Tats, do you think that?
No, I don't think we traded for him. I don't think we traded for him hurt. I think he got hurt while he was here. I just think it gives the appearance that he was hurt beforehand because of his lack of performance. I can't see. There was no evidence that he was hurt. The evidence was there that he just couldn't pitch it. He just couldn't rise to the occasion.
The evidence was there because he was missing time prior to the trade for the exact reason that he's off right now.
No, when we traded for him, he was on bereavement. He wasn't on injury.
No, he was yes, as well, but he also had exactly the same strain that he was missing time with earlier in the year, right through, and he was still working himself back when we traded for him. So there was questions about his health when we traded for him.
Yeah, that's a question with any acquisition. Is the health, but it's it's one of those. It is like you said. It's more on Cashman. Cashman made that was a desperation trade to appease the fans.
Well, Montas has got stuff. I like Montas. I genuinely think that he was hurt, and the Yankees didn't do the necessary checks on him because they've already proven that they haven't done so with Severino when they re-signed Severino, and he was actually requiring surgery, and Montas was still working himself back to full health when we acquired him, and I don't think that he was fully healthy. But Elliott is in agreement with you. Montas was a disaster, no command. I don't believe he was injured and was able to start 6 or 7 games, whatever it was. I do believe that he was injured. I'm going to stick to that, but we will see. It's a positive day. The Yankees won the division. Appreciate everybody in the chat. We've gone on a little bit longer than normal, but I think because it's a celebratory day, we wanted to go on a little longer and get some nice comments and stuff, mostly from Elliot. Thank you so much for Tony Clark. Cotter75. Anybody who hasn't already done so, please like and subscribe to the Pinstripe Chronicles. Much appreciated. As we always say here on the Pinstripe Chronicles, wear your pinstripe with pride and play hard. Thank you so much to Roku and Northeast Streaming Sports for hosting us as normal. We will see you guys tomorrow.